So stretches out for 25,000 kilometers across Asia. So this huge line, right, is 25,000 kilometers. Okay, the Himalayas are fault mountains that formed 38 million years ago. Now, you would say, oh my god, 30 million years, that's a very long time. But then it was formed 30 million years ago, but we called it a young fault mountain. Okay, so we talked about this in class. The reason why this, the fault mountain of the Himalayas formed Everest is because of the movement of the tectonic plates, if you remember. You need to go back to the slides if you don't recall how fault mountains are created. So basically a huge part of the ground, they're covered in ashes and everything, they go under the mountain, and all the lava and the heat actually push them up, and one like one tectonic plate is under it, the other one is on top of it, and they go up by pushing each other. Okay, so Himalaya range is a home to some of the planet's highest peaks, including Mount Everest, right? So Mount Everest is a very famous mountain. Okay, I tell you that people actually live there, and people mostly die there when they go to climb it. Okay, it's a very like a very big tourist attraction site. Okay, so three main activities in the Himalayas that you need to know about is first is climate and land use, then rivers and minerals, and then forest and flooding. Okay, let's talk about the climate and land use. Okay, the lower slope of the mountain has a milder climate. That means that it has a hotter or warmer climate than the upper slopes, obviously, and the soil is more fertile and well drained. So farmers can grow fruits, trees, tea, potato, rice, wheat, maize, sugarcane, all these stuff, and sell it. Okay, they also raise sheep, goats, yaks. Okay, so yaks are those animals that farmers and villagers use to carry things from the upper lower slopes of the mountain during their autumn spring moving. Okay, the life of the villagers in the Himalayas, because of the temperature drops in the higher parts of the land, the people living in that place actually have to move when it becomes really cold in the winter. They have to come down to come and raise their sheep and grow their stuff in the bottom part. So they need the animals that live there have very strong bone structure. Okay, so they're very strong, they're very big, because this is, let's face it, one of the roughest the most extreme mountains out there in the planet. So the all the animals and even the people living there, really, they have this like properties, or their bodies are built that way that they can actually last living in these mountains. Okay, so minerals and rivers. Okay, the mountain contains valuable minerals and gemstones, as well as iron ore and coal, right? So however, these are hard to mine because of poor transportation in those areas. Obviously, Nepal is not a very rich country, so their governments, or the people that actually, even Afghanistan and Pakistan, all these countries, they are always faced with very huge economic, political problems, that they don't have enough money to actually build proper roads for the mountains and the farmers and the miners. Okay, so most of the gemstones, or the rich material that we can find in the Himalayas, are not really being extracted, and they're hard to mine, right? So rivers provide sources of water for many farming and electricity generating projects in countries like India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. Obviously, it's a very, very big source of water, you know, it's a mountain, so it must have a huge, massive amount of underground water. Okay, so and then electricity generates there, um, and it supports countries like India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. Okay, now the third and last feature is forests and flooding. And about one third of the lower slopes of Himalayas are covered with forests. In India, Bangladesh, Nepal, large number of trees are being cut to make new fields and provide firewood. Okay, the trees are also used to make paper, matches, and other products. Okay, so normally the tree roots hold the waters and release it slowly. Now, when it rains, all the land is flooded and all the soil is washed away from the steep slopes. Okay, the people living there in the Himalayas actually, take the advantage that the bottom slopes of the Himalayas is actually where all the trees grow and all the forests flourish, right? So what they do is that they cut these trees, but what they don't know that this is like a very steep land, very high land. So once you cut these trees, their roots supposed to hold in the water, basically, and release it slowly. Now, when it rains, there's nothing to hold these waters, so they basically flood and they wash away all the soil, right? So it's something that they discovered because they've done it, right? So these are three features of the Himalayas. If it came up in the exam, you need to be able to answer all of these. Okay, so take a moment here and just look at the beautiful pictures. Okay, so if you look at this, these are the type of animals they rise. Okay, so this is the sign to Mount Everest. Okay, so this is the image I talked about. So this is the Himalayas right there. Okay, it's always covered in snow. Okay, during the winter, the summer, any time, any season of the year, basically it's covered in snow. And this is the plateau, this is the highland. So this plateau right here is China. Okay, so under here you find India, and over there you find Pakistan, and Nepal is here, and Bangladesh, right, and Bhutan, right. All of these countries, they're connected by this huge massive range of mountains. Okay, so it looks something like this. If you would go in the spring or in the summer, everything looks very, very green, and then there's like this huge peak of ice. It looks like an iceberg, but it's a mountain, right? Right. Okay. Now the Andes. Okay, this is also one of the biggest spots on Earth. You can basically see it through a satellite image. It's obviously seen if you grew up to become an astronaut. You would jump up in your aerospace craft, and you would look at the Earth, and you would recognize immediately the Himalayas and the Andes, because in grade 6, Ms. Bested made a video in quarantine to teach you about this. Okay, now the Andes. They're more than 7,000 kilometers long and up to 320 kilometers wide. Why is this important? Because the Andes is the longest mountain range in the world, okay? So it covers a very large area, all right? So the people living there actually had to live in the mountains and create places like Machu Picchu, the one we talked about in class, remember? Okay, so basically the countries that it covers are Argentina, Peru, Chile, Ecuador, and Colombia, Venezuela. All of these countries go through the Andes, okay? Remember their names, at least 3 or 4 of them. Colombia, Argentina, Peru, and Chile, or Venezuela. These are easy to, remember, okay? So it's in South America. Make sure you know that, Okay, and these are the the elevation colors that we talked about. This is a relief map. Okay, you see no sign of roads here. Okay, we see some names, all right, but this is just part of this is the places that actually exist there. Right, we don't see nothing, no buildings, no roads, no dams, no artificial or human-made features. Right,